Why I talk to some people and not to others. I get people asking me all the time why I don't answer your questions. So let me answer your question now. Yes, I'm selective about who I want to converse with. Unlike social media, where you end up talking to anyone who wants to engage you in conversation, I pick the people I want to talk to. There are some of you wanting to get questions to me. You think I'm obliged to do this because I channel masters, extraterrestrials, and whoever else. It's your right to speak to them. I'm not obligated to do anything I don't want to. It's not for you to decide what I'm to do, it's my right. The fact that you don't understand this is part of the reason I'd rather you just hear our messages rather than have to speak to you. First of all, I don't make friends. You'll find that my boundaries are so refined, and it's because they reflect my personal needs and my extraterrestrial consciousness. I have found that many people on Earth that I have given an ear to have turned on me, one of them an energy vampire that drained me of energy for days until Ivo intervened to stop her. The Matrix has also used these people to try to bring my vibration down, and it can do this. What was once a person who I felt I could befriend turned out to be someone overrun with demonics. Why? Because they can't get to me but they can get to you. I used to make friendships based on our mutual misery in having been abused. I don't do this now. It's up to you to heal yourself, not me. The other thing, in case you haven't noticed, but I have noticed, is that many of you don't like to leave the cages you've been living in, the self-created cages of comfort. You may have also noticed that my messages are somewhat radical. You may have also noticed that many people become upset when my messages rattle their cages and encroach upon their comfort zone, but I'm not in this service to have to suffer your reaction when what I say makes you uncomfortable. You may have noticed that many people become angry and start attacking the person who makes them uncomfortable, and I'm not here to have to suffer through that. The fact is, many adults suffer from this egotistical immaturity, and frankly, it's not my problem and I'm not going to make it my problem. It's your problem. I can tell whether you're service to self or service to others. I can tell whether you're in your ego or an embodiment of your higher self. I can tell whether you're of unity consciousness or duality consciousness. It's the latter I want nothing to do with. I can tell who can take it well and who can't. I can tell who's open and who isn't. If I ignore you, it's because I can see you're probably one of these hotheads and I want nothing to do with you. I've had other people throw large amounts of money at me basically with the intention of either buying their way into my service or to take it off on a course they would prefer to see. As if. I've had rude people, entitled people, toxic people, divisive people, arrogant people, selfish people, stalkers, you name it, following me. I've had the mentally ill, including schizophrenics, obsessively messaging me. I've dealt with many unpleasant things to date, and for this reason, I limit others' ability to contact me. You are the public, and do you think working with the public is easy? It's not. I also didn't say I would answer questions. I said you could comment on Rumble. I'll be perfectly honest. I've spent years explaining the same things over and over and over, and now I'm making pages on my websites so you can read these messages so I don't have to keep repeating them. Like the event. There's 2 pages on sharonandavio.com with information on it. I've had people who have given their contact numbers out on my website have to threaten my stalkers to stop messaging them for my contact details or they'd call Interpol. One man phoned a woman I have as a contact 30 times before she finally threatened him to stop. I would have threatened it 3 times, but to each his own. Now I'm at a point where I feel I've answered every question a beginner could ask. I'm going further down my own personal rabbit hole and I'll share it, but if you haven't found your answers in whatever I've already channeled, then you'd better seek elsewhere. I'm also not about to try to convince you to change your religious views. You're entitled to your own beliefs, but if they don't gel with mine, I probably won't message you back. I do everything I can to maintain my own personal sense of peace. If that means ignoring you, I'll do it. If you misuse my forms to contact me, that tells me you're a boundary violator. If you're so focused on getting your own needs met that you'll violate mine, you're not somebody I want to deal with. Sorry for you people who get frustrated that I'm not communicating with you, but the reality is I would have had to answer thousands of emailed questions by now for people who would have just moved on, and I don't have that kind of energy and I don't have that kind of time. Trying to answer thousands of emails from followers is just crazy. I've heard of people who do it, and that's up to them. It's not my prerogative because it's just impossible to do. If you appear divisive, dysfunctional, toxic, or any of the other things I've been up to my ears in all my life and personally am very fed up of, Feel free to watch our videos, but don't expect one-on-one personalized service from me. You're not going to get it. I might answer your comments on Rumble, but it depends on what you're saying and what I know about you. If you're stalking me and I've rejected you before, don't expect me to play your game. I could be up to my ears in people problems just trying to do this work, but it's because I've adopted the policies that I have and the very limited communication I have that's allowed me to continue, whereas others would have gotten frustrated and given up long before I have. The reason I can put out the large volume of work that I do is because I don't spend my time working on a personal basis as a rule. I vote and I put the answers in front of you. It's up to you to make sense of them and use them in your personal life if you want to. The fact is, many of you ask the same questions, and if you read our articles section and you read sharonandavio.com, you may find your answers there. Yes, of course. I know some of you think I'm a bitch. Go ahead. But you're divisive and of separation consciousness, and you're not in the habit of looking at your own behavior, just attacking others when they set boundaries with you. Sharon.